All right, so what I want to do today is I want to spend a little bit of time talking about one of the obstacles that I find most guys that I talk to on the phone have, right? So when somebody fills out an application to work with me or be part of my program, one of the things we do is we jump on a phone call, and in the application, I ask, what are some of the obstacles that are holding you back, right? And I would say on 75% of these applications, motivation is written in there. Motivation. So how do we get motivated? How do we get motivated to start on the journey, but not only to start, but to continue on, to carry forward for the long term? Because we all know that health, fitness, nutrition is something that needs to be taken seriously for the remainder of your life. It's not something that's done in, it's not something you can buy for 30 days and then be good and be done, right? It's not something you can buy for a year and just be good and done, right? It doesn't work that way. It's a constant sort of effort that you have to keep putting in order to be the best version of yourself, okay? So let's talk about this motivation. What's going on here? And I'm going to give you my beliefs on motivation, and it might fly against some of the normal thought patterns that are out there when it comes to motivation, because when I get on the phone with people, they're looking for me to give them motivation, right? They're looking for this external sort of thing, like I have this magic thing that I can just hand you over and all of a sudden you're going to be motivated, right? And it's something it can't be found externally. Motivation only comes from within you. You can't get it from somebody else. You have to have it inside of you. What you can find, and what a lot of people do, and they perceive as motivation, is they look for cheerleaders. They look for somebody to jump up and down and clap their hands for them and tell them how awesome they are. That's not motivation, that's cheerleading. Cheerleaders are a dime a dozen. They're really easy to find, okay? You don't need a cheerleader. Okay, you need to find motivation within you to move yourself forward, to take action every single day for the rest of your life. You need to find that within you. Okay, so what are the ways that you can find the motivation that you need within you so that you can take action and have success? What are the strategies? I'm going to give you two of them. Okay, the first strategy that you can use is to figure out what's going on right here. Surprise, surprise. It all starts in your brain, okay? So let me ask you this. If you stand in front of a mirror and you look at yourself in the mirror, what is your brain telling yourself? We all have this kind of inner dialogue. What are you saying to yourself, right? For example, if I'm standing in front of the mirror and I'm an overweight guy, I know what overweight guys tend to tell themselves in the mirror. They tend to tell themselves, I'm fat, I'm ugly, why would anybody be attracted to me? This is no way to live. I can't believe I let this happen, right? These are all the things that go through the head of somebody who's overweight, who's standing in the mirror looking at themselves. This is the internal dialogue that's going on. And let me ask you this, if that's your internal dialogue, what is the choices you're going to make look like in your life? So if I'm calling myself a fat guy all the time and that nobody's going to like me because of what I did and how I let myself go, what are the choices I'm going to make when I go to a restaurant? Am I going to choose the good food to eat, or am I going to choose just whatever I desire at the time? There's a really good chance I'm going to make poor choices instead of good choices, because I'm not motivated to make a change. I'm not motivated to take action and to do the things that I need to do to be the opposite of what I'm telling myself. You see the incongruency here, what's going on, right? Now let's say I stand in front of the mirror. If I'm standing my personal self today, because it wasn't always like this, if I'm standing in front of the mirror and I'm looking at myself, I'm going, damn, how did I do this? Like I look pretty amazing for a 44-year-old guy. That's incredible. I have abs. Dude, 18-year-olds don't have abs. Right? I'm kind of proud of myself. So that when I go to the restaurant, I'm not going to fall into the trap of just going into my desire to eat a bunch of bad food. I'm not saying it's not there, but it's very easy for me to make the decision to eat something that's good, to make good choices, to be able to exercise. I do those things because that's what I identify as. I have the internal motivation to be able to do those things. Okay? All right? So first one is check your inner dialogue. Get that stuff figured out, get that stuff organized so you can start getting yourself on the right path, so you can create the internal motivation for you to be able to make the decisions that you need to be successful. Okay? The second thing that you need to do is figure out your why. Why is it that you want to make this change? Because it needs to be clarified so that you have something, I call it an anchor, so that you have something within you that keeps you sort of anchored in your choices, right? So for me, I have an 11-year-old son who happens to be standing right next to me at the time. You say hi?
Booyah! I'm out here.
So there is my why. My why is because I want to spend as much time on this earth with him as an active participant in his life. Okay, that's my why. That's why I keep moving forward. It's one of the reasons. So my internal dialogue is good. I have a very strong anchor in my why. I know why I want to do this. So now, when I'm faced with challenge, bad food, excuses about not being able to exercise that day, whatever it is, those excuses become so far down the totem pole of importance that I don't even entertain them. They're not even like, it doesn't even matter to me. I don't have time. Bullshit. I have plenty of time. I make the time. Why? Because I'm a skinny, good-looking 44-year-old dude, and I want to be on the planet to be able to spend time with my son for as long as possible as an active participant. Do you understand where my motivation is coming from? I enjoy having a coach to guide me, to help me get to where I want to be as efficiently and as effectively as possible, but I'm not looking for a cheerleader. I don't need anybody jumping up and down and telling me how awesome I am. In fact, I need somebody checking me. I need somebody to keep me focused on what I need to be doing in the most efficient, effective way possible. That's why I hire coaches. Okay? So motivation needs to come from within. And if you can develop that motivation from within by checking yourself here and by really getting clear on what your why is, and you may have more than one, everybody's different, right? But if you can get really clear on your why and have that anchor to keep you anchored to your ultimate, I'm going to be 1% better every single day in my physical self, you can't lose. Okay? All right, hope that helps.